I'm Karen Terry from McGrath Team BT, and I'm absolutely honoured to be here with probably one of the most famous real estate experts in the country right now and famous auctioneers. And he's also a columnist for News Corp. It's Tom Panos. Thank you so much, Tom, for joining me today. I've just got a couple of questions that I would love you to answer to help create some stability amongst our local homeowners who are sitting at home in their lounge rooms, unsure whether they can actually sell in this market or not. What are you seeing high level in the market? I mean, you meet hundreds of agents across so many different markets. What message do you have for our homeowners out there to encourage them to come on the market, that it's not as horrendous as what they're reading in the media?
Karen, the market's actually pretty good. It's simply gone from nuts to normal. It's not a bad market. In fact, the data that we're seeing shows that the Sydney clearance rate has gone up in 3 consecutive months. It appears that buyers and sellers have accepted these are our new conditions. Sure, I get it. About a year ago, you might have got 15% more, 10% more, but in reality, most vendors are around 40 to 45% ahead pre-COVID. What are you seeing in your market, Karen?
Yeah, fairly similar, Tom. So good properties are selling. It's very, very undersupplied. So my market locally is 20 to 30% undersupplied from where it would normally be in the spring period, which you and I both know is holding prices fairly stable. And I agree with you, good properties are selling well, but our owners who are motivated to sell are achieving prices that's in line with the new market. They're no longer wanting last year's prices, which is absolutely fantastic. A very different picture at the start of the year when the market was changing on a monthly basis and it felt like it was in free fall for about 3 months or so. That was a challenging time for vendors who were still holding on to last year's prices. Now, irrespective of what they're reading in the media, and we know it's got its Armageddon theories, and we've also know that we can't subscribe to Armageddon when it comes to property prices. The market, we agree, is a good market. We're getting 30 to 40 groups for our very first open homes. Throughout the course of a 4-week auction campaign, we're getting up to 100 groups. A bad market would be no one coming through the open homes.
Karen, spot on. There's a basic number that people need to understand, and it's called the absorption rate. The absorption rate is how quickly stock gets sucked up by buyers at a particular time. And right now, as we're doing this video, I can tell you we have a very high absorption rate. There is not a lot of stock and it gets sucked in very quickly. You also have an opportunity to use a strategy which is called list now, launch later. Some of the smartest vendors I've ever met actually get their property ready in November, December, even if they're not ready to launch it, and they make sure they catch the buyers over the holiday period and early January. The reason why this is important, Karen, is we're in a marketplace where interest rates are going up. Every time there's a rate rise of 1%, borrowing capacity drops by 10%. So what you want to do is, if you're a vendor, is you want to be selling before rate rises get too hectic. So what would I be doing right now if I'm a vendor that is thinking about selling in the future? I would probably give my property to an agent, put it as I call a pocket listing, get them to have it available in case they see a buyer late November, December, early January. And if not, they're able to launch very early in January. You want to beat the rush of vendors that come onto the market after Australia Day. Because when you do that, Karen, as a vendor, you're selling in competition and not in isolation. The smart vendors are selling when others are preparing to sell. That's what I'd be doing right now in this market. Karen, this is what I see happening at a macro level. I'm curious, at a micro level in your area, Karen, how does that play out?
So my market is the Forest market. It takes in 5 markets, 15,000 home markets. So it's a substantial market. We are absolutely seeing the same thing, Tom, so that you're quite right. We want to be ahead of the rest of the market. Most homeowners sit at home waiting, watching to see what happens in the market before they bring their property on the market. I agree, that's too late. You want to catch those buyers that are relaxed over that Christmas period, jumping onto realestate.com. There's not a lot to look at. You want to invite those buyers into your property. So if we can have our homeowners prepared this side of Christmas to launch the second or third week of January, that's going to give them a really good opportunity to catch those buyers who missed out maybe this side of Christmas. There's that pent-up demand because we know throughout the month of December, usually there's very few properties to look at and they've got high intent to purchase. And to your point, we want to get those people before the next interest rate rise, those buyers before the next interest rate rise, where they may be reassessed for a lower amount of money. And we're seeing that time and time again with our beautiful buyers that had up to $1 million approved at the start of the year and now down to $750,000 approval. So that's a significant impact to what they into their buying power. Tom, auction, I believe in it, and I'm pretty sure you believe in it. I mean, you've just set the record for the block for the highest price paid ever above reserve for a property. Does auction process still work?
In 95% of cases in this market, I would be using auction. The reason why is there's a deadline, Karen. It's a call to action. Properties that don't have a deadline seem to linger. And the data's really clear. Properties that go to auction have half the days on market than a private treaty. For the occasional property that doesn't sell on auction day, the research is clear. It sells within 7 to 10 days after the auction. We simply know that if you're going to win in business, you've got to stand out as a vendor. An auction property is going to get most of the attention when there's other homes on the market. So what would I be doing? I'd be going to auction. I'd ensure that I have a marketing campaign that outmarkets the competition, and I would try and get 2 or 3 people that want a property emotionally and badly. We saw that on the block. When 2 people want it, you can achieve results beyond the boom times. I think the most important thing, if you're a vendor, is that you listen to your real estate agent and you make sure that you're in the right category to be an auction property. And if you are, that you actually go for it and you go all in, and that you make sure that if you worry about the process, the proceeds will come.
Tom, thank you so much for your time and your insights. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Karen.